Welcome to Habs Unfiltered. I'm your host, Blain, and I'm joined now by my co-host, Matt Smith.
Good evening.
So, Matt, how's the week been for you?
Busy as hell. It's nice to
Yeah,
be off night shift, and I can't wait till the house next door is finally done its roof so I can get some sleep because you work a 13-hour shift and you get home and you just hear bang, bang, bang through your headboard, not the other way around like I'm used to. You know what I'm
not the
saying?
good way. Not the
And
good way.
yeah, yeah, I move a lot when I sleep. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly it.
yeah. Other than that, they're doing great. And the
Awesome.
Canadians pick up a victory. So what's not to be
Right?
excited for? Yeah.
A comeback at that.
Yeah. It was 3-1.
It
Yeah,
was.
heard that before.
It really was. So yeah, things here are busy too. That's so we haven't had a show since the weekend. A lot's happened since then. A couple of wins, a horrible loss. Um, so we'll get right into it now. The Canadians pull off a big comeback win against Columbus after a disastrous game against New Jersey, where they didn't necessarily play poorly, but New Jersey's just that much better of a team, and Toffoli lit them up.
Yeah. New Jersey's one of those teams you just can't make mistakes. So you've got Toffoli, who loves Montreal and loves playing them even more. And then you've got Jack Hughes, who is just lighting the league up this year. You can't make those mistakes.
No, you can't.
However, we did see
Pardon
a
me.
much better effort from Montreal at the end against Columbus tonight.
Well, I don't think they had a poor showing throughout the game. I mean, they did get outshot in the first period, but I think that had a lot more to do with the fact that any time they would get hit from behind, they'd somehow end up even strength or on the penalty kill.
Yeah, I knew we were going to talk about this. So the thing that bothered me the most was like Voronkov hits Jack Guy. Obviously, Jack Guy is going to retaliate. He gets up, he drops the gloves. They have a little bit of a fight. We all knew that was coming, but it was Voronkov literally got a free hit from behind on Jack Guy because a roughing penalty was called against Jack Guy. So no man advantage for Montreal. So the way I look at it is like you had your hit from behind. There's your initial call. If you're gonna call anything else, call an extra two against Veronka, maybe for roughing or for whatever else, or give him a 4 minute or whatever the hell you gonna do. But Montreal should have had an advantage there. Then you fast forward 2 minutes and 20 seconds or so, and you've got Sillinger comes from behind in very similar play into New Hook. And what does Tanner Pearson do? Well, I'm going to stick up for my new teammate. He goes over there, and it was a rough more than anything. But again, no no penalty or no power play for Montreal, and everything's evened up. And it's like you talk about Montreal taking penalties. You take and this kind of stuff. These are penalties I don't mind them taking because it's them sticking up for themselves and it's them sticking up for their teammates. However, there's obviously some sort of gray area there, and I know we'll get into Cody Beach a little bit later on, but I know they talked at length about, oh well, you've got Cody Beach who's got less than X amount of games in the league. He was an ex-player, by the way. Um, and then you've got Kevin Pollock, who is his veteran official. But the thing is, he didn't. It's not like Kevin Pollock stepped in at any time and said, like, "Hey, kid, like maybe you made the wrong call," and he just kind of let him call his own game. So you can have that veteran voice with you all you want, but if the veteran doesn't step in, it doesn't do anything to the flow of the game.
Right. It the game started off with possibly some of the worst officiating I have seen in a long time. And my biggest concern with officiating, no matter what sport level, it's consistency. But in the case of the game against Columbus, the officiating was piss poor, not because of inconsistency, because they were consistent. I'll give them props on that. If it wasn't for the fact that they were making these horrible, boneheaded calls to even up for some reason, uh, then I would have said they would have had a well officiated game. But how do you call a hit from behind
Yeah,
and not give the power play to the other team?
right.
Not once,
Yeah, but
but
twice
twice.
in just over 2 minutes.
Yeah. So you're essentially incentivizing the other team to continue to play like that.
Yeah,
It came to the point where that rookie call up that they had that hit Jack Eye from behind threw a fucking headshot.
yeah, against Harris. Yeah,
Exactly. So you're calling a headshot. Great. You saw it. You called it. Good. I like that. I like the fact that they're calling that now. But would that have happened had they given him a 2 or a 4 or handed a power play to the Canadians for something like that? Because not doing it tells the team, whatever, do whatever you want. It's
yeah,
okay. We'll even this shit up.
yeah. I said it was definitely one of the stories of the game, and I'm happy that obviously the end of the day that the Canadians come around with a victory, but it's it's an adversity that they shouldn't have to play through. They shouldn't have to
Exactly.
play against the officials and play against an NHL team to pick up points in this league. Like Montreal is
Yeah.
not a savage, chop you down, physical, kill you type team. Yet you look at the stats and it shows that they're just a bunch of savages. One thing that did surprise me though during the broadcast, Montreal's fifth in the league going into this game in hits.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm quite surprised at that. And then they said, oh well, obviously they're leading the league in penalty minutes. And I said, well, I'm not surprised in that. However,
Makes sense.
you don't look at the Montreal Canadiens roster and you're like, scared of those guys. Not a lot of them, at least. Just a few of them. Just a
Not
few of them,
not
right?
necessarily. Not necessarily.
But you look at the
But
roster
there
as a
is
whole.
but there is a couple of people that teams should be scared of for
Yeah,
several reasons. And we'll get into Mr. Overtime himself in a little bit. But what I saw was a couple of players that stood out for me,
yes,
and for different reasons. So the first one's Nick Suzuki. He People expect him to be the standout because he's the captain, he's the top center. He's had a bit of an up and down start to the season, but
yeah,
this game here, even though his high danger chances, he had five for his team and 6 against. Um, Overall, possession wise, he controlled possession of the puck almost 66% of the game. Uh, you know, they pushed the pace for the most part. I mean, that first period really hurt the Canadians statistically as well. But he had an excellent game. He played over 20 minutes. He had a nice goal. So maybe that kind of wakes him up a little bit and sets him on the right path.
I think so too. Going into this game, he had 3 assists, and now he's doubled his point total in a game, right? So I can see the same thing. I think the two of them. I know you're going to talk obviously about Caufield next, so I'll
Well, I
kind of
mean,
set I'll
how
set
can
you
you
up.
not?
I'll set you up for that. But yeah, Suzuki had a great game, and he's working towards his face-offs. He didn't take as many tonight. Actually, he only took 9 tonight.
Oh, yeah.
But it just shows the importance of having a guy like Monahan, and we saw it a few times when Monahan was out there to take the draws. Monahan tonight 56%. On the other side of the ice, you got Boone Jenner, who's very good in the face-off dot. He went 74%. So to have that guy going against you is never going to be an easy time. But I think this shows the importance of having a guy like Monahan, and I think that maybe when a guy like Dvorak comes back, if Dvorak goes back to centering his own line, maybe we'll see that Monahan shift to the wing and be that guy that's going to play with Suzuki and Caufield to complement them.
Um, yeah, no, that would make
Or
sense.
or shift Newhook back to the wing.
There was some debate on social media about Newhook and Monahan, whereas they felt that Newhook wasn't showing the creativity. Like he has the speed, he has the shot, he has the
He
path,
does.
but he doesn't have the creativity to generate the offense. Whereas Monahan could, in his own way. Um, so there was some talk of maybe pushing Newhook up to the
Yep.
top line,
Yep.
and while I agree that might actually work, I don't think it's the best path. I agree that Monahan is probably the better choice there
Yes.
if
Yes.
they were going to put another center on that line.
Right.
Just because Slavkovsky's playing fairly well. Like he had a bunch of moments where he would win board battles. He was able to get the pucks in. He
Yeah.
was he was going to the net. He had a couple of chances there where he could have shot, but he had a hard time with the release.
Yeah.
And Newhook was the one that helped set all that up.
Right. My problem a little bit with Slavkovsky tonight was just the fact that there was a few times he just gave the puck away. He had it on his stick
Yes.
and he's like, what do I do with it? And he just, especially in the third period, when it was tied,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
had two giveaways on one shift, and I just was like, don't let it end like this.
Well, the one that I couldn't help but kind of chuckle at, he was essentially alone along the boards going up ice.
Yeah.
And the defenseman was coming in to cut him off, wasn't quite there, and somehow Slavkovsky lost the puck to the referee.
Well, the
At
referee's
the blue
against him
line.
anyway. The referee's against him anyway, so he may as well. All right.
I think it was
I
Cody
feel that
Beach.
pressure as well, right?
Cody was playing defense again for some
Yeah.
strange reason.
Yeah.
Um,
But
no, but yeah, I agree. He had some nice moments, but he also had several brain farts.
yeah. Yeah.
But that's part of the development process.
Right.
It's not
Speaking
like he
of,
doesn't look like he doesn't belong.
yeah. So speaking of development and taking the next step, Cole Caufield,
Yeah. Oh,
another game winning goal tonight, 3-point performance for him, matching the captain with a goal and 2 assists. Second overtime winner of the season, sixth of his career, and Montreal fans went home happy tonight because he looked fantastic in overtime. He had multiple chances. One almost went in off of Werenski, but the shot that he took to win it for them, like
yeah.
these are the things that get the fans out of their seats, and couldn't have happened to a better guy. I think that he was all over the ice tonight. He had 8 shots, 3 points, as I said, and he played over 20 minutes. And this kid's just getting better and better. Going into this game, he had 6 points. Now he's got 9. So are we looking at a guy that's gonna, break some of these personal stat records this season if he can stay healthy?
Well, he's got 9 points in 7 games already. He's on pace for 60 goals this year. Like he is just flying high right now. The whole game, he was he was masterful. He had control of the puck. He controlled the pace. Um, he went. I don't know. He was all over that other team, and I mean, he had control of the puck nearly 72% of the game
Yeah.
when he was on the ice. Like that. Just think about that. Three quarters of the time he was on the ice, he had the puck,
Yeah. I'm finding more
and he
and
was weaving
more
through, and he was
that
weaving through crowds and everything.
Yeah, I'm finding more and more that I see him play, and the more that he gains confidence. I'm finding when he gets the puck on his stick that things kind of just slow down a little bit. I know that's not
Yeah.
actually the way it is, but there's sometimes like the way he can just move and weave and go through defensemen and everything. Uh, Montreal is a special talent in Cole Caufield, and I think that at the end of the day, that the contract extension that they signed him to is going to be a real bargain.
Well, right now he's definitely living up to his contract.
Yes.
Um, you couldn't really ask for much more out of a player, especially a winger. You're not expecting a winger to lift the team and carry it, but so far this season he has. The
Yeah.
Canadians have a winning record right now, and it comes clearly off of his stick because he's won both the games in overtime that they've
Right.
won in overtime.
Right.
Um, but he started the year off and he is just flying. He's on his game. He's really relating well to St. Louis. Whatever it is that St. Louis is talking to him about, it's working
Yes.
because the approach that St. Louis has had to play the small area games and play with more pace really fits with the way Caufield plays.
Absolutely.
Now, St. Louis also um, talked to the press after the game, and he was talking about the loss to New Jersey and how they responded. He was really impressed by the way they stepped up, especially when they were being pushed early in the game with physically. And they stepped up and they fought back. They took control of the game and they came back. Now, he also mentioned how the veterans are passing things to the younger players and they're teaching them how to overcome these issues. And that's the development that I want to see this season. Whether they win the game or not, I mean, clearly everybody wants to see the team win, but even if they lose, the sheer fact that they fought back in that game to tie it back up and they were pushing. They pushed the pace, they controlled the game even after that slow start and having the 3-1 deficit, and they continued. I want to see that from them all season.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what?
the other player that
Even when things started to get tough, like
yeah,
towards the end of the game, Gallagher takes that phantom high stick. The trailing ref throws his arm up, and then it's like, okay, here we go. We got a power play with only a little bit of time left. Then it's
yeah,
going to likely go into overtime and get a 4-on-3, right? So, again, when you start talking about the veterans stepping up and everything, you look at that shift, and Sean Monahan came up with some really big plays in the game in total. But during that penalty kill, he was the one that was able to clear the puck, got a few blocks in, etc.
yeah,
And another guy that I'll give a shout out to really quick that I thought had a great game. And with the absence of a guy like Savard and Caden Gooley, Mike Matheson, he played 28 minutes tonight, and
oh yeah.
he is turning into such a value for the Canadians blue line. And to think that they traded Jeff Petrie and got this guy, what a deal.
You traded Jeff Petrie the first time.
Yeah, the first time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to be clear. Um, yeah, and I really loved his game. I loved Sean Monahan's work and Matheson's work on that penalty kill into overtime. They were blocking shots. They clear, they were. uh, Montembeault makes a nice kick save. Matheson was able to clear it out. Uh, Monahan makes the block, and then they clear it. So that I think was it. Just kind of highlights the kind of special teams you want to see from these guys.
Yes.
That's what you want to see. You want to see that battle. You want to see them challenge the other team and not just stay static and kind of passively waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
Um,
But
and,
that was it. But this is
and
the thing. That
sticking with
was it. Well, the issue that I have though, just about that point,
yeah,
is
yeah,
I like the battle, but they were battling when the game was tied, right?
yes,
When and they were like, yeah, we went in, it's overtime, we're fucked. Like we've lost the game. I don't like the fact that they're down by a couple goals or they're down a goal and they're hesitant to play the body a little bit. They're hesitant to make a play, or they're hesitant to do what they need to do in fear of taking another penalty.
yeah,
Like, yes, the Canadians scored 2 power play goals tonight. Great to see. It was still not the best looking power play, but they still found a way to kill two or to score two. Their penalty kill, however, well, they let in two, and they were both late in the power play. So you kill off the majority of a power play, and then you let up the goal with 20 seconds left. Right. So
Yeah.
you do everything right up until the end, and then you got one past your goalie. And I
And
like
that's a good point about the Jekyll and Hyde.
yeah, they've got to do something. They have to do something to be able to play that 2 minute. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
another thing that kind of irked me tonight was a couple times tonight, like it happened with Monahan. That was the one that stood out. Break your stick. You break your stick, just go pick up another stick. Like he skated around for a good little bit, just trying to throw a shoulder here or throw a push here or there, anything like that. Like I think your team can kill off a 5-on-4 for a couple seconds while you go to the bench, especially if the equipment manager's quick with your stick.
Yeah.
That's just something I noticed.
But I think you have a very good point on that whole Jekyll and Hyde penalty kill. Um, they are much better when they're active in their own zone. And you're right. If they get hemmed in, they get tired and they take shortcuts and they collapse in, and that's when they get in a lot of trouble. And that we've seen a lot of that already this season. And that's where the Canadians really have to improve on the penalty kill. Now on the power play, yeah, they went 40% tonight, 2 for 5. So it's an improvement, definitely an improvement. You could probably, I don't think anyone remembers the last time the Canadians scored two power play goals in a game.
It's been a while.
So mark your calendars. But it's showing some form of advancement. The fact that they're using Monahan in front of the net and he's active, he is
Yes.
following the play, he is actively screening the goalie, and he's able to make quick plays. There was a scoring chance on the power play earlier in the game, generated by him shifting over, and then doing a little quick pass up into the high slot for a shot. Now, nothing came of it, but the fact that he's making these plays, that's it adds another dimension to their power play, and that's what they were missing, because you can stop a pass to Caufield. So that's what I want to see out of them. The 5-on-5 play, they control 5-on-5.
Yeah.
They're a very good 5-on-5.
They're one of the better teams in the league early on in the year at 5-on-5.
Yeah.
It's when the arms start going up is when their play dissolves. And then they're either playing catch up or they're really playing catch up. So tonight though, they played catch up and it worked out for them. So we've got a few nice goals that the Canadians scored. We've got a ref telling Tanner Pearson to fuck off, and then the Canadians come up on top. So got to be happy about that at the end of the day.
Yeah. And before we get back, just want to get to one other player that I think deserves a little bit of recognition for his play, and that's Justin Barron. He had a couple of moments where he had some brain farts, but it didn't really hurt the team that much. I mean, he missed the stick check on the first goal, but he was positioned well. Like he was positioned to to try and stop Gaudreau, and there should have been someone else nearby. He didn't see that he was alone, and he didn't pick that up. So that's a mistake on his part. But overall, he kept the puck up ice quite a bit. They controlled the puck quite a bit with him there. It was about 64% of the time they had control. There were more high danger chances for with him on the ice than against. He played over 20 minutes. Overall, that's a solid second pairing game, and that's what you want to see from him. He actually created a few chances. They didn't score on them, but he was able to create them.
Yeah. I'll give a quick shout out as well to Josh Anderson. I thought he was kind of all over the ice tonight. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to capitalize on some of the chances he had.
Yeah.
One tried to go to the backhand, didn't work. The other one, he's like, oh, I'll try to go forehand. That didn't work either. So, but I find that he's using his speed much more efficiently. It's not just like blast till my tank's out. He's using it in bursts, and he's using it much more effectively this season. And it's just a matter of time. Points will start coming for him. He's showing good things. He's playing the body. He's doing what he needs to do to succeed, and he's creating space for his line mates. So good on him. A good veteran. It was a good veteran game for him.
And back to Mr. Overtime, goal Caufield. According to Sportsnet stats, he has the fewest games to 6 career overtime goals in NHL history
Wow.
at
Impressive.
130.
Impressive.
I think he's earned the title Mr. Overtime.
He's getting there for sure. He's getting there. He's well on his way. He's well on his
Yeah.
way.
And before we sign off or move on to anything else, I just want to note that while it was an up and down game, the fans in that arena were going ape shit.
Yeah.
The Canadians, whether they're winning or losing, they're making their games entertaining. And they're improving. So last season, well, actually 2 seasons ago, they were hot garbage. Last season, they were garbage light because it was too many injuries. And this season, it's early, but they're showing a lot better. The fact that they have more players on the injured reserve list than they have games played is still a problem.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but reinforcements are on the way.
they're
Like
exciting.
Goalie
Yeah.
skated today. Dvorak skated. Dvorak's still going to be a little ways. They're saying I'm going to say probably another week to 2. The way that it looked for goalie skating today, there was a lot of people that were surprised that he didn't play today. So I would say all indication says he'll be in the lineup against the Jets on Saturday. Obviously, don't quote me on it, but it's looking that way.
Yeah, and Dvorak probably just after the 1st of November will be playing.
I could see him joining the road trips. I think they go out to they go to Vegas, I think. I don't think that they'll put him in like his first game against Vegas, but no. I think he'll join the road trip and he'll go from there, at least be around the team.
Yeah, and his return, that's where we'll start seeing a little bit more interesting choices in lineups.
Yes.
Because the Monahan, New Hook, swappy that we were talking about earlier,
well,
that's where it'll come into play.
For that, it's not even that for me. It's does Armia go back down? What happens with the 3 goaltenders?
Yeah.
Right? Or are they going to make a decision? Are they going to make a trade? What's going to happen there?
Yeah, there was some rumors coming out again about Armia being involved in some kind of talks for
Anthony Mantha
with Washington for Mantha. We'll see whether it happens or not. They can send him right back down without having to put him back on waivers. We're all good. It's the Primo.
Yeah,
he played against New Jersey. He didn't play a bad game.
No, for what I got to see of the game as I was working, but he didn't play awful.
No, and for someone who hadn't played all year, being thrown into the net against one of the better teams in the NHL, with a lot of skill and speed, I think he held up well. He only gave up 4 goals, and he made some very nice saves. So I think that'll help his confidence a little bit, even though it was a loss.
Yeah.
But at the same time, keeping him on the roster is still holding him back.
Well, it's not even holding him back. It's hurting the other goaltenders as well. This was like even tonight. This was Montembeault's first game for quite a while. Jake Allen has arguably been the best goaltender out of the 3 so far, and you don't want to sit a guy that's playing well just to put in another guy because you've got a third goaltender, right? They have to. I'm not gonna say ride the hot hand, because I still can see them doing the 1A, 1B, but to be like, well, we got to give our C a game or 2 as well. there's no sense of just having him on the bench or having him in the press
Yeah,
box. It might take away from that, you know, that game after game confidence of another goaltender that should be getting more starts.
exactly. And now maybe if Montembeault was playing a little bit more, he would have been a little bit more on his game. He had one banana, well, not a banana per se, but there's a goal that he would have wanted back. That short side goal that he gave up, he,
Yep.
he would probably want that back. Maybe he would let that in if he was playing a little bit more.
Right. I honestly I could say all three goals he could be faulted on at some point because the first goal went right across in front of him. Maybe he could have put his stick out. Maybe he could have played it a little bit better. The second one beat him clean. All right, there was no screen, beat him clean. Second one, and then the third one he cheated. Right,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah, but
give it to him.
there's
It was a nice play, and everyone got drawn to that side, so I can see why the goaltender would follow. But again, at the same time, it's your situational awareness to know you've got another player beside you, and if I go all the way to one side, they've got a wide open net. That's what ended up happening.
yeah, I guess. I, I'm not as critical on those two as you might be. Like
I'm
I'm
not
not.
gonna like
Yeah.
I want to see more out of him. I'd like to see
Yes.
Allen back. I'd
Yes.
like to see Allen back in the net on Saturday,
Yes.
and then go from there. Because from there, you've got I think they're off again till like Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah. A couple days
Tuesday,
off.
right? Tuesday or Wednesday, they go to Vegas, and then they're on the road, right? So we'll see. But decisions have to be made, and not only do they need to be made with players coming back, they're going to be forced to make these decisions.
Yeah. So when the Jets come to visit Montreal, I agree. I think Jake Allen should get that start. The way he's played through so far this season, he deserves a Saturday night start at home.
Yeah, he does.
Then they have to travel the very next day because they play Monday against Vegas.
Oh, it is Monday. Yeah, yeah. I thought
Yeah.
it was Tuesday.
So that is definitely not a game that I would put primo.
No.
Um, so yeah, the goaltending side, the when Dvorak comes back, Armia is more than likely the one that's going to be gone after that. Um, so we'll see some shifting in the roster here soon, but that's for later on. Tonight is just the Canadians had a comeback win. The young guys showed some good steps. The young leaders like Caufield and Suzuki carried the team in that overtime period. They actually carried them through the game. They each had 3 points. And I mean, Matheson is a number one defenseman right now, or at least he's playing like one.
Yeah,
So there's good there's good things to point to for the Canadians, despite the up and down moments in that game.
agreed.
Now, before we go, some final thoughts. We talked about this before we started recording tonight, but for you, the final thought it's a good one.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the NHL has decided to decentralize the draft, and for me, it all but kills the draft. It kills the experience for the fans. I've had a great time throughout the years attending drafts. Was able to see some great cities throughout the states and meet some fantastic people. And that's just not just other fans, but that's some people within the media or even some people in the hockey world, you know, like Guy Lapointe or meeting Claude Lemieux or those kind of people, and just having the opportunity to shake hands with them and have a conversation with them is you know, it's something that I'm going to remember forever. And you know, you take that aspect away from it, that more and more of these guys aren't going to be at the draft, and fans aren't going to be able to have that experience. Like, yes, I can say, you know, I went to my first draft in 2014, and in 24, you know, in like I was, in my mid-20s. Um, but like it's just, I don't know, it's difficult to explain. Like, I look at, for instance, when we were at the draft in Nashville, um, and we were able to even meet some people there. And
Yeah.
I remember one of the individuals that we met, and he was able to meet Carey Price and get pictures with his kids and all that kind of stuff. And now that's going to be something that another father, another mother isn't going to be able to do, because they're taking this away. They're taking the fan experience away from it. And it's, just something that kind of, as a hockey fan, it just kind of bothers me, right? If I'm there or not, it's not just about me and about what I want. It's the next fan or the next family that's not going to have the opportunity to have that moment, maybe with one of their favorite players or someone that they look up to.
Not to mention on the second day when it's not televised, there's still players there right up
They're
until the
everywhere,
end. So
and they're
them getting
everywhere.
exactly, they get called when they get their name called. It does not matter when it happens.
Yep,
They the uh, the excitement that you see from these kids
yep,
and their families is that's part of the experience.
yep.
You don't get that. I mean, when you're younger, you don't feel that kind of nostalgia or emotion, but when you get to see it out of these people, when you're there, when you're as gray as I am, that's part of the show for me. That
Yeah,
I love seeing these kids um, achieve a dream, and you won't get to see that now.
yeah. Like the way that they're setting it up, it's gonna be more or less MLB style, NFL style, whatever you want to call it, or NBA style. It's gonna be
Shit,
small contingent, if that. And it's gonna be Gary Bettman coming up and saying who the pick is, that person coming up, hugging their family, and that's gonna be it. But you know, I've said this before, the NHL doesn't do a lot of things right. The NHL draft was one of them, and unfortunately they've ruined it. So we'll see how it goes. I hope that um I probably won't be able to attend this one next year. I know you won't be able to. But I'm hoping that if it does happen, that they have people in attendance. Let that be a great draft. Make the best out of it, and hopefully people can walk away with that with some good memories, and then they can go to shit next year, because I have a feeling that's what's going to
exactly.
happen.
Yeah, and they'll watch their ratings plummet because of it.
Right.
Now, for me, my final thought before I get on to thanking our listeners is you talked about the NHL screwing things up. Well, Shane Pinto just got suspended as we record today at the 26th of October. He got a 41 game suspension for uh, quote unquote uh, gambling.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, he had a gambling account, and the NHL announced that he did not gamble on hockey, but on other things. So they said not on hockey, other gambling. Here's 41 games. Meanwhile, 2 years ago, uh, Vander Kane had the exact same issue pop up, and he got what again? Nothing.
A contract extension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like what makes it even worse is that the NHL has no problem taking all that gambling money, all the website advertising, all that from like Bet 99 and all the whole
Well,
group,
let's just
but they're
let's
going to
just say it
suspend
this
Pinto.
way. Side of Shane Pinto's helmet this season would have had Bet 99 on the side of it.
They did last year too.
Right.
That's the
So,
helmet advertising for the Ottawa
right.
Senators.
So I don't know. Like the amount that is driven down your throat during a game. It's like, let's go to this person with the current odds. It's like, who gives a fuck? Like, talk about the game. I don't give a shit at what the over under is for this person to score a goal, or what their expected this is, or whatever else.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm there to watch the hockey game.
They're taking money hand over fist from these gambling websites, but
Absolutely
the
there.
sec and I have I don't think I'd have a problem with suspending a player for gambling if that's what they do with any player that did it. But he's the first one to get suspended for gambling since the 1940s, for fuck's sakes.
Right.
Meanwhile, just 2 years ago, under the same CBA and under the same rules, another player was accused of gambling. They investigated. They said he didn't gamble on hockey, but he did gamble.
Yeah.
But nothing was done. So again, what's my biggest pet peeve with officiating in the NHL? Inconsistencies. And right there is the biggest one I could possibly see.
Right.
I bet we'll see something worse.
Ah.
But all right. So I just want to finish this off with I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on social media. Continue sending us those emails. We really do appreciate that. If there's ideas for a show that you'd like to hear, send that in. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a contest where one of the listeners can just pop on. Maybe.
Before I let you go, I just want to say that our thoughts are with the people of Lewiston, Maine tonight. Another horrific mass shooting in the States. They're well documented that there are far too many happening, and there's too many people that are down there that have access to weapons that shouldn't. And I know that one of our followers and one of our guests, Tristan, used to play for the Maine Maniacs when they still had a team in the queue. And I know he called that place home for a long time. And just know that we're thinking of him, and we're thinking of Maine right now. I grew up in New Brunswick. It's literally right there. So just our thoughts are with everyone that's affected by this. Hopefully they find the individual responsible as soon as possible. And these families can get a little bit of closure.
Nothing more I can say on that other than 100% agree with you. And as I told Tristan already, hearts go out to you and everybody you know back in Lewiston, Maine. So to our listeners, thank you again for listening. And remember, if you're talking about it,